I was muted. I was muted. Okay. So now I know I was looking too far up and I was muted. So, all right, let's start. Let's do this again. Hello, welcome to Level Up Mom. My name is Jennifer, and tonight we're going to be exploring. Oh, shoot! I was looking too high again. I know this is live. Bear with me. I'm working through some stuff. New camera, and I don't know where to look. Okay, let's try this. Hi, welcome to Level Up Mom. My name is Jennifer, and tonight we're going to be exploring Minecraft. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of Minecraft. It's been around for a long time now, and it is the #1 game in the world. It dethroned Tetris quite a while ago, and they even made a somewhat, maybe not successful movie of it this year. But either way, we're going to go over what it is, how to get started, maybe pros and cons for, whether you want your kids to be able to play, what kind of things you can do in the game, how to be safe, and, how you can use it as a good family fun activity. So let's get started. Am I still looking too high? Why am I still looking too high? Where the heck am I supposed to look?
I think you're fine, honey.
No, I'm looking at the ceiling in the video. I'm watching the playback right now. I'm looking way up at the sky. Like I can see myself. I'm looking. I don't know where the heck I'm supposed to look. I was looking down here. No, it's like if I look into the lens, I'm looking up. Like I don't know how to make it make eye contact. Like right here. We'll try that. Shoot, what did I do with crud? I had printed off a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. I know this is really awkward if I'm live and you're sitting here watching me, but I don't think anybody's actually watching. I'm really just using this to be able to record. Crud, I had a whole... Bummer, I had a whole thing. Shoot. Well, oh well. All right, let's try that intro one more time. It's awkward not looking at the camera, but we'll give it a go. Good evening. My name is Jennifer, and welcome to Level Up Mom. This evening, we're going to be going over Minecraft and exploring it together. I'm going to go over what it is, who plays it, how they play it, whether it's a good family-friendly activity for you and your kiddos to do together, and how you actually get started and play. Shoot, now I've done it a million times and I don't know what I'm saying. All right, let's see what it looks like. See if I'm in the right place. Good grief, I'm still not looking right. That's so weird. All right.
You are looking fine, honey.
It's weird that I'm not looking at the camera. Everybody always looks at the camera and I'm not. It's weird. Okay. Try one more time and then I'm getting in the game. Good evening. Hi, my name is Jennifer and this is Level Up Mom. Tonight we're going to be exploring Minecraft together. I'm sure you've heard of Minecraft. It's hugely popular. In fact, it's the #1 most popular game in the world. It actually took over for Tetris years ago. There was even recently a movie about it. That's how popular it is. So tonight we're going to discuss what it is, how you play, the different kinds of things you can do in the game, who likes to play, and how you can maybe incorporate this in your family fun time. So let's get started. All right, first things first. You are going to obviously need to download the game. There's a couple different versions that you can play on your computer. You can play on your console. And then there's 2 versions, Bedrock and Java. You don't really need to know too much about this, but just keep in mind that they actually are running on different versions slightly. So sometimes some of the new content might come to one before it comes to another. But in general, that's something that's a little bit more down the road for you. But for now, either pick your favorite console or your computer and download the game. And then once you do that and you make an account, you will get this screen here. And we're just gonna go in. Now, unlike most games, you don't just pop in. you actually create a world. This is, I think, some of the most fun part of the game. You can actually go in, let's see. You can see I have made a lot of games already. Okay, so you're going to go in and to create new world. If you do this, you can actually have lots of different options, but you can actually, what am I trying to do here is find, where's the world seed. So you can go here, so you go to advanced and you go to templates. And this is actually like giving you kind of an idea of the kind of world you'd create. So there's a world that's got a lot of this deep dark in it, or a mangrove swamp, or a coastal village, abandoned village, a mesa plateau world. So this can be helpful if you really know you want to explore a specific biome and you're worried that if you do a random world, you'll miss out on something. So I probably wouldn't start with this unless, like I said, you're doing it for a specific purpose. But if you've played a while and you're really like, I just really want to live in a cherry grove, then this is a good way to do it. So we're going to go back out to the regular Create a World general. So you get to name your world. We're going to call this Testing World. That's super creative, I know. And the first thing you'll notice is you have a choice of survival and creative. Survival is the regular way of playing this game, where you have to survive the elements, and there are monsters, or they're called mobs. They're not crazy, terrible, they're not overly violent, but they will kill you if you don't find a way to protect yourself. You'll see in a minute, it's not overly harsh. But you also can only jump, a certain height. You're limited to the physics of the real world. So that's survival. In survival mode, you do have choices. You can actually do peaceful, where there won't be any enemies, but you still have to deal with the world physics. So you could still technically drown, burn in lava, that kind of thing. Then there's easy, which is there are mobs, but there's not as many that spawn. And they're not as difficult to deal with. Normal would be the regular default setting, and then hard, which is where obviously it gets much more challenging. There is also a new hardcore mode where if you die one time, you're out of luck and you have to start over. I might have the guts to try that someday, but not today. All right, so that's the survival mode. I tend to try to play in normal. But sometimes when my daughter was little and we played together, I would play in peaceful so she wouldn't get frustrated. Or then we eventually got to easy and then normal. So creative, this is the way my daughter now likes to play. Creative mode means all bets are off. You can't die in lava, you can't drown, you can fly over the world. There are mobs, but they do not ever attack you. You're invulnerable. So it's really, really fun, especially if you like to build. So this is basically a Lego playground, and that'll make more sense when we get into the game. So Minecraft, it's kind of like Legos. It's based on little blocks that you put together to create things. And you do that when you're playing in regular survival, but again, there's physics. So you can't just build a tower 50 blocks tall without having some way of supporting yourself. So you'd have to use scaffolding or build up at angles, things like that. So in creative mode, that's where a lot of people go crazy, building castles and really just amazing things. My daughter used to make these like big dog-shaped buildings and all kinds of fun things. So creative is where people like to play when they really want to focus on more of the Lego aspect and less on the actual survival mechanics of the game. So if you want to try that out, then you would just click creative. Okay, so we're for tonight gonna do, I might show that off in a minute, but we're gonna start with survival. And we're going to do normal mode just so you can see. And I probably will die, but that's okay because that's part of the game. So over here you do have advanced settings. You can make the world flat. So again, if you just want one flat world without hills and valleys, so again, it's easier to build, things like that, you can turn that on. Starting map, you can actually start with a map in your inventory. I usually like to work towards building and being a cartographer, so I don't like to start with a map because I want to build up to that. And other things like a bonus chest. Show coordinates is something I always do. So this basically just means that there is a set of coordinates, longitude and latitude in the corner that help you if you wander off and get lost and can't find your base and you don't have a map, or you die and lose your map. It helps you get home, and it just, I think, eliminates a lot of unnecessary frustration, especially if you're playing with other people, because you can find each other a lot easier. So the other thing I like to turn off is, did I miss it? Where you can hurt each other, or maybe that's under here. Friendly fire. So this means you can't hit another actual player. So if you're trying to create a world where it's a competitive environment, you know, who can build the biggest base and you want to raid each other's bases, that's great. Leave that on. But for families, I think it's best to not accidentally, you know, shoot your husband or your kid when you're trying to actually shoot a skeleton. So I always turn that off. But again, you can go through all of these settings on your own. They have descriptions underneath them. There's also things, like I said, where keep your inventory if you die, because usually you lose it and you have to go back and get it. So there are all kinds of ways you can make the game a little more custom. So if, you know, you like playing with your kids, but they really don't like that when they die they lose all their stuff, which I understand, and they're young enough that you're not really worried about teaching them consequences of, you know, losing, then you might want to click that. So again, there's more options here. There's also a way to make it always daytime because the world gets a little more difficult at night. So you can always just make it day. There are resource packs that you can download either for free or you can buy that make the world look a little bit different, a little more fun, or I think there's one that's all just shades of pink or whatever. So there are different things like that that you can also download. But to keep it simple for right now, we're done with the settings and we are going to create our world. Now, if you don't pick one of the templates, when you hit create, it's random. I find that most of the time I end up in like a meadow or a forest, which is pretty much the safest kind of starting area. But I also find it the most boring because it's the predominant zone of the world, and I like to start somewhere more exciting now. But if it's your first world, a lot of times starting out in the forest or meadow is perfect because all the resources you need are there. You're not going to have to go trouncing around looking for immediate food sources. So, but it's kind of like rolling dice to see what you're going to get. So let's go. Sometimes I'll create like 4 or 5 worlds in a row until I get one I really like, and then I'll just delete the other ones. But for tonight, we're just going to stick with the first one we get. I think I've created like 50 worlds over the course of the time this game's been out, just because I love this part. I love just doing it and seeing, okay, what are we going to get? So I think I mentioned before the word biomes. That just basically means that there could be jungles, deserts, oceans, mesa lands, snowy mountains. So those are different biomes. And the way Minecraft works is that you just basically have a bunch of different biomes that are all connected, and it's procedurally generated, which means as you walk, it just generates in front of you. And so different resources and different things come from different biomes. So you want to see and explore a lot of different biomes. Plus, it's just more beautiful and exciting. So here it looks like we have a jungle biome. That's what those tall trees over there are. And then just kind of a regular mountain and a meadow. And over there is the savanna, which has like acacia trees. So this is actually a little bit of a good variation. It's not all just one biome. So like I said, we're going to stick with it anyway, but in this case, we actually have a few different things to look at. So first things first, ooh, we have a little ravine here too. That's cool. We have a big cave. That's good for future resources, but also bad guys come out of there. So, all right. So first thing you want to do is start working on a temporary shelter. It doesn't matter. Actually, the first thing you should do is mark the spawn, and I already messed that up. But we know it's somewhere around here. So what I usually do, although it's less important if you have the coordinates on, which you can see up here in the left-hand corner, marking the spawn points just kind of helps you know where people are going to come in if they join your game. So all you do is you just basically start hitting blocks. Now, certain blocks you can't hit with your fist. You'll have to use a tool. But in the beginning, you can hit dirt and wood and stone and get blocks to use to build. So we are going to kind of use this since it's already down in the ground, and we're going to dig out a little 3x3 base, because once it hits nighttime, zombies and skeletons will come out. Like I said, a lot less scary than they sound, but they still can hurt. And we want to make sure we don't die the first night, because it takes a while before you have the resources to not just hide every night. Eventually you'll get a bed and you can sleep through the night, and then you can skip the nighttime that way. Now sometimes you obviously want to be out at night, but in the beginning, all right, we're going to go one over. All right, so this is going to be our little door right here. All right, so we'll build up here. And you can see this is obviously not a very pretty building, but this is the basics of building. You just dig up blocks and stack them on top of each other in the end. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, that's enough. So this will be our wall, and then this is actually a very satisfying, relaxing kind of game. Sometimes when you're just digging, you just dig for a while, and it's just kind of satisfying and relaxing after, you know, a long day. It can be very fulfilling, stress relieving, you know. Oh, need a little more dirt. So you just saw a box pop up that says new recipe unlocked. So in the beginning, the first time you play the game, it's actually going to help you. It's going to tell you, hey, you've unlocked the ability to make something because of a block that you've picked up. So that's going to be really helpful, because obviously, like I said, if you're new to the game, it can get a little overwhelming. All right, so we are completely closed in with the exception of this little opening here. Okay, so all we have to do is close off this when it's nighttime. Perfect. Doesn't matter if it's not pretty, like there's a hole there, although I'm gonna fix it just because I'm weird like that. I gotta have symmetry. Okay, so we have a home. Now we need to work on tools. So let's go find the closest tree. Actually, aren't a ton of trees really close. It's interesting. Actually, we're also going to pick some grass. See that seed that just dropped? That'll eventually turn into helping us make some food. So we're gonna have to do some farming here shortly. But let's go find, oh, there's a tree. And it's an oak tree. Those are good because they have apples. And apples don't require any extra ingredients or cooking, so you can instantly find yourself some food. Right now, you can see there are some boxes at the bottom of the screen. Those are your active items you can choose between to use. So right now, there's a dirt square. If I scroll, there's some seeds, flowers, and some wood. Above these blocks, you can see the hearts. That's my health. So if I get damaged or hurt, that goes down. And then on the right-hand side, the little chicken legs are the food. So that tells you I'm full, but if I get hungry, I can actually start to take damage. And more importantly, if I get damaged, I can't heal at all. So you got to keep yourself fed to stay healthy. So I don't see any more apples popping out here. Okay, let's see, did we get any? So we're gonna plant a couple of these trees because we actually really need oak trees to grow, because we are gonna need the apples. All right, so let's see. The next thing you do is hit E. E is your inventory and crafting ability. So you have some different tabs here that give you options, but you can also just do this and type in axe. Although I guess that didn't work. I don't know why. Maybe because I haven't learned it. But the first thing we're going to do is make some wood. And if you click here, it automatically loads it up here. You could just guess and stick stuff over here and it'll make it if it can. But if you just click on the thing you want to make, it'll automatically load it over here in your crafting area. So we're going to make as many of these as we can. And then we're going to take and make a few sticks, because that's, most things in the beginning are made of either sticks or planks. So we'll make a couple stacks of sticks. And now we can make a crafting table. So if you notice, this has 4 empty slots. That means we can only have that many ingredients. So that limits us. If we get the crafting table made, so what we do is we scroll to the crafting table. You know what? We're gonna go put this in our house. Where'd our house go? See, this is why you really should put like markers on things. All right, so we're gonna put this in the corner of our house. Now we have a 3x3, and that's as much as you're gonna need. So it opens up a lot more options for things to make. So we're gonna go here to tools, and we're going to make a pickaxe so we can get stone and coal. We're gonna just make a sword just because there are gonna be bad guys at some point. I'm going to move things around a little bit. And then we're going to need a hoe to be able to farm. Okay. That's all for right now. You don't really need an axe. It makes hitting wood faster, but it's not really necessary. Uh-oh. It's getting dark. And this is the part where it's going to be really boring for a while. So you know what? I think we're just going to wing it and not go in there, because otherwise you guys are going to get bored. Nighttime takes a while in the beginning. So we'll just fight off anything that comes. You guys need to learn about that anyway. So we're going to come close to the water. To farm, you have to be near water. And we're going to use our hoe and make 3 spots for our 3 sets of seeds and plant them. You do not need to water them. If they're near water, that's all they need. And then it will take a while and they will grow. So that's a start. Oh, here we go. Skeleton. Zombie. Oh, baby zombie, so I'm going to die. Yep. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you die. You can see here bouncing around a spider, a little skeleton there, zombie, and then I was killed by a baby zombie. They're really fast and hard to hit. And you'll notice that when I respawn, my stuff will be all gone. Well, we found the spawn point. Now, where's the house? I think it's over here, yep. I'm gonna grit some dirt for a door. We're gonna try to quickly go in here and get away from them. There we go. So it's really dark and boring in here now, unfortunately. But you'll notice my bars are all gone. Everything's off of my bar because I have nothing. Now, eventually we're gonna make chests and then you can put stuff into the chest and that will keep it safe so that if you die, you can come back to your chest and get things. But anything you have on you, unless you clicked that one button that we mentioned where you cannot lose your inventory upon death, is gonna have to be refound when you go to your body. Now in this case, my body's pretty close, so that's not too bad. There are times where I've traveled really far away and died, and then I've just said, forget it. It's not worth going back for. Also, if you fall and die in lava, your stuff for the most part is just gonna burn up and won't be recoverable. So that's one of the downsides. You don't wanna go too close to lava. All right, so while we're waiting for nighttime, occasionally, you can kind of see, occasionally we're gonna open up a dirt square. Oh, still dark, okay. And, but yes, so while we're waiting, let's just talk a little bit about the game itself. So, why is Minecraft so popular? Well, again, imagine Legos, but in a huge world that you actually walk around in. So now instead of a table full of little Lego buildings, you're in the table area walking around and, you know, exploring all of the worlds that you've built. So it's like you're a tiny little Lego, you know, the little minifigures, you're the minifigure in the Lego world. And that's just so exciting and fun. And you're not limited to having to have bought all the Lego sets. You can build as many things as you want. The world is pretty much infinite. I mean, there is an end, but it would take forever to actually explore an entire Minecraft seed. So it's just full of opportunities for creativity. And what you've seen so far is not even beginning to scratch the surface. So yes, there's biomes and all kinds of places to explore and you can build things, but there's actual like engineering in this game as well. And I am not an expert by any means, but I can tell you they exist. There are ways to basically learn about circuits and electricity. You can power and generate things and make like factories basically that will do things for you. As a matter of fact, there are Minecraft like courses you can take where they're actually teaching you math, teaching you about circuits, teaching you about coding. There are so many ways to use Minecraft educationally, and you don't even have to do it yourself as a parent. You can just find them online. They're already created and you can just let your kid go crazy. And there's so many ways that this game has tools to teach you things that might be boring for a kid to learn on their own, and the game makes it fun and exciting. It's also social, or potentially. If you create a world the way I just did, no one can join me unless I invite them, and I have to be friends with them first. So you can, as a parent, control if or who is allowed to join a realm that your kid is created. And you can obviously have protections against them joining other games as well. One of the things that I have done is create realms. Realms are private worlds that, again, you as the realm owner have to invite people to. So my kid cannot invite anybody, I have to. And you can have up to, I think, 15 people. So what I did when she was younger and wanted to learn to play Minecraft was make a realm. so that she could give the information to her friends, and I would know who they were personally, and then I would allow them to be invited to the realm, and she could play with them together, and they could build villages and creations, and play together, but in a world where I knew there wouldn't be any chat from any strangers, no one else would be able to be online and talk to them. So I knew it would be a safe place for them and their friends to play together, but still get to be social and play it together and not just always alone. Now that does cost, I think it's $10 a month. So that was something that was worth it to me, so that she could be social, but without having to be with other people. There are obviously places you can play with a bunch of strangers. It's obviously up to you and your family's preferences, but just know that yes, there are ways for your kid to play with all kinds of strangers if you're not taking precautions and setting things up so that they can't do that. So if that's something you do not want, then you want to put in the protections to make sure that can't happen. Or like I said, create a realm where they can play with their friends in a safe environment. Let's see where we're at. Still nighttime. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is, because we've kind of seen how you get started, because this will be slow going otherwise. We're going to get out of this game real quick. So I want to show you a couple of other things. And just so you know, the game is not complete. They're constantly creating new content for it. So even if you think you've seen it all, they're regularly releasing new content that you don't pay for. It just updates the game with new biomes, new different blocks to play with. So it years and years and years later, and they are still making new content for it. So that's pretty exciting. Real quick, let's do a create a new world and show you real quick what creative looks like. I don't particularly like creative because for me, I like the survival aspect of the game. I like forging my, world in a harsh environment and surviving and thriving and making villages. And I love making railroads. You can actually basically make a mine cart and tracks, and you can travel the world that way. So I prefer that. And when you're in creative mode, it kind of takes the exploration out, because here's why. Oh, we're surrounded by trees. Okay. Well, what else we got? Just hit spacebar and you go straight up into the air. Superman style. Oh, wow. But this is a good way for you to understand what I mean by biomes. So if you look, obviously we have a tundra biome here, which is the snowy peaks there. And then we have just regular forest meadow. Then we have a dark forest over there. I don't see a ton of other biome varieties right off the top of my head. There's a pillager tower. Pillagers are bad guys, but more people bad guys. And then there's actually villages in the game as well that are pre-made houses filled with non-player characters called NPCs. Means the computer's controlling them. And you can interact with them. They can trade you things. And sometimes if you're near one when you start, it's a good place to hide out while you're trying to get your own home going. So this is kind of what it's like to be in creative. Now, when you hit E in creative mode, oh my goodness, look at all this. Every block in the game is available, and you don't have to have any resources. I forgot to mention that before. You can just hit something and drag it to your thingy, and now you can use it. Well, maybe Ooh. Oh, what are you? Well, that's right. They changed it so when you're in different biomes, the cows and stuff look different. So you just start putting up blocks. And if you want to make a tower, well, you still have to have them connected, but look. You can do it so much easier than if you were trying to do this without being able to fly. So yeah, so again, so there's blocks. Look at all the different variations of blocks there are. That's one of the things that makes this game so amazing. And then even things like wool have all kinds of color choices. Like it's just so, like, look at all these glazed terracotta blocks. Like this is so cool. Let's do some of that. Oops. Look at these. You can make a cute little house out of pink flower squares. Let's see. So those are some more of the blocks. This is all kinds of like armor. Okay, helmet, but look at all the helmets. They're made of all kinds of different material. Same thing with weapons. Then this is like all the like accessories, furnishings for your house. Different stations like blast furnaces, smokers, brewing stand, anvils, grindstones, bookshelves, all kinds of things. And then you can get buckets of things. You can add creatures to your world with eggs. Where are the eggs? Am I missing the eggs? Let's search. Cow. Yeah. So you just do that. And then look. Oops. We've got a cow. So in creative mode, you can really do anything in the game at just the touch of a button. Oh, look at that little different looking piggy. So anyway, that's what creative mode is, and that's why it's different, and that's why a lot of kids like it, because you're basically just, the world is your playground. You can make, oh, there's a cherry grove. That's one of my new favorite ones. Oh, and there's a village, so we'll head over there real quick. But yeah, so creative mode, again, for me, part of the fun is exploring and finding out there's a cherry grove and not just knowing in 2 seconds. So to me, it kind of ruins the fun if I can fly and see it all. Plus also, if you just can make anything you want, what's the point of, like, to me, what's the point of playing? Because part of the fun for me is working up to, okay, now I've got a pickaxe, so I'm going to go get stone, and then I'm going to make a stone pickaxe so that I can get iron, and then I'm going to get an iron pickaxe so that I can get diamonds, and, you know, so working our way up in resources is fun for me. So those are cherry blossom trees. They're really cool because they drop their flower petals onto the ground. It's really neat. But let's go look at the village so you get an idea what I mean about villages. Like I said, if you can spawn near one, that's very helpful. So this is some ideas of what buildings can look like here. This is the way the game just generates buildings. Now, each biome that has a village has its own architecture, which is really neat. So this is the generic meadow and forest one. And these are the little villagers. Oh. Hello, little guy. How are you today? Are you a farmer? Let's see. Nope, you don't look like a farmer. So a lot of times they'll have different professions. And then you could trade them different things to help you with gaining other resources. So let me see if I can find a farm here. So usually if you come across it, there's one. Although it's not got any food, it's just an animal farm. Usually they have like some crops growing. Let's do a look-a-sloo. Huh. Yeah, I don't see. Oh, there it is. Ooh. So this is what it looks like when you grow crops. So this is some carrots and I think potatoes or beets. The other cool thing to do when you go to a village is look for chests. So you want to go in every house. Oh, and if you can take a bed, that'd be great too, because that helps you skip the nighttime. Just so you know, though, if there's more than one person on a same world together, you all have to sleep or it doesn't work. So if you want to skip, everybody has to go to bed. That way, you know, if you're in the middle of doing something at night that you want to be doing, someone can't just kick you out, you know. Oh, see how he's dressed differently? That's because he is a different profession. Let me see if I can find a chest. Oh, there's one. So you open it up and, oh, look, an apple, good. So, and bread. So they don't usually have too many like amazing things, but especially in the beginning of the game, it's helpful to find a village because usually at the very least you can find a bed and some food. But this just kind of gives you an idea on a simple scale, the kind of things you can build. Whole villages with paths, and the ideas are just limitless. I'm not that great of a builder. When I do Legos, I have to follow the instructions. My creativity lies elsewhere, not in building. But if you Google it online, you'll find some amazing videos and pictures of these amazing mansions and coastal towns and mountain villages and Sistine Chapel. I mean, you basically find just amazing masterpieces that people have built in this game. And it takes a lot of engineering to know how to make sure you've got everything symmetrical, and the creativity, like to make roofs, you use like stair pieces, and it just blows my mind the way people figure out all of this stuff. And that's what I mean when I say it's so educational in spatial intelligence and awareness, geometry, engineering. There's just so many ways that you can use this game to not only have a ton of fun with your family, but actually help them develop critical thinking and perseverance, because I'm telling you, building a huge build like that takes time, and you're going to mess up and have to destroy things and restart. But then when you finally get that masterpiece, it's just all worth it. Helps develop creativity and just so many good things that that is different than just, you know, doom scrolling on YouTube or Instagram, right? So, you know, I understand that sometimes you just want to be out and about and, you know, touching grass and all that. But as far as screen time goes, Minecraft is about as good as it gets, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not here to tell anybody how to run their family. But in my opinion, with proper guidelines and supervision in place to make sure that your family is playing only with people that you know and is safely interacting with people, it is a really fun way to bond together, because your family is coming together to create something and has shared goals, a division of labor, you know, working together as a team. So many good life lessons learning and working together, while also just having a lot of fun. And honestly, we're so busy these days finding ways to have fun together in a way that our kids embrace, a way that helps us connect to them in something that they want to do. Is just such a rare thing these days. And so that's why I really wanted to highlight Minecraft tonight, because I think if nothing else, if you really just don't want to do any gaming or online activities in your family, but you maybe want to bring some small thing in, Minecraft would be my absolute number one first recommendation. We're going to get out of here, and I'm just going to show you the marketplace real quick, because in terms of what I was saying about educational things, this is one of the ways that you can do it. There are also actually like Minecraft Academy through Minecraft, where you can actually use it as like a school, like teachers can actually use Minecraft, and there's like curriculum, and they actually have the kids go to school like virtually in the classroom in the Minecraft world and do different activities. So there's all kinds of official things like that, but then there are these worlds that people have created. So let me get to the marketplace. And there's all kinds of just random stuff, but there is, let's go to my library because I know I have quite a few of them. Ancient Egypt. Someone created an ancient Egypt. Travel back to the ancient Egypt and learn about the time of the pharaohs. Explore the pyramid complex, the Sphinx, and the unfinished obelisk, or ride your camel through the oasis and across the fields. NPCs give you interesting information. So this is designed to be a learning opportunity. It's not just for fun. Look at that. Just to give you an idea how you can build things. I mean, they built ancient Egypt here. So in this case, you're visually seeing Egyptian type things, but then they have designed the NPCs to give you information. So let's see what else we got. All right, so let's see. There's different underwater things you can do. There was a build a rocket, astronaut training, basic machinery. I know there's a couple others. A Chinese water town, coloring artist, Colosseum, a computers add-on, dinosaurs, Earth, escape room type scenario, farm simulators, International Space Station, Logico is a puzzle game designed to teach you how to think like a programmer with 50 levels to master. See, again, this is another one that's designed to truly be educational. Marine biologist, math robot. Use your math skills to fix Math Robot and unlock the Epic Command Center. Earn unlimited prizes by playing math games. Use the prizes to build the biggest and coolest empire in the land. So that's what I mean when I say these things are really, I mean, this game has been around for, I don't know, 20 years. So there's been a lot of time for people to really come up with some amazing things that can be really fun, but also super educational. So that way, you know, you can feel good about the time you're spending online. It's also really just a good way to connect with friends as well. I know when I was young, you know, I would just spend hours on the phone with my friends, or more often just out in the front, you know, street, hanging out with all the neighbors' kids. But these days, a lot of times kids don't have that opportunity. They may not get a cell phone until much later, and there's no home phone to call a friend, and there's nobody out on the street playing. So I have found that, you know, Minecraft can be a good, safe way for your kids to get to hang out with their friends and have that socialization and that friendship. That oftentimes I feel is missing, you know, in today's way that we structure our lives. So, you know, it can be a really good, like, this is basically the backyard, you know, this is the street football game. It's just a good way for you to provide an environment for your kids and their friends to safely hang out and spend time together and giggle and laugh and cooperate and learn how to navigate different friendship scenarios. Sometimes they get on each other's nerves, that kind of stuff. But you need those opportunities, and playing together in Minecraft can really be a good way to allow your kid to have that time with their friends that they really need as they get older, without feeling the pressure to have them have social media or a phone before you're ready. So again, I think it's a good way for kids to help connect to each other in a world where it's just not easy to walk out the front door and have that anymore. So anyway, that is the basics of Minecraft. There is so much more. I would really encourage you to try it out. See if your kids are interested. If they are, join them, play with them. It's so easy sometimes to say, well, I don't like video games, so that's just their thing, and that's fine. But I would encourage you to try it, because even if it's not a game that you would want to ever really play on your own, being able to connect with your kid in a place of their interest is just so special. It really can help you to understand your kids' motivations and interests and likes, and it helps them feel important. So again, I'm not saying you have to do it all the time, because goodness knows you can only tolerate so much of something you don't really like. But you might surprise yourself and find yourself on your own in creative mode, making your next big Disneyland dream castle. Who knows? But you don't know if you don't try it. And I think it's important. We support our kids when they play sports. We support our kids when they, want to be in the school play. Maybe try and see if you can enjoy one of their games. And I would say the first place to start is Minecraft, because it's pretty simple. Doesn't take a lot of skill. You don't have to be some fast twitch crazy person to be able to play. You're not going to embarrass yourself by dying every 2 seconds. It's not over your head in terms of puzzle content that, it's been too long of a day for you to figure out, It's just kind of relaxing and chill, and a good way to have a good family-friendly adventure together. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up. If you have any questions about Minecraft, feel free to put them in the comments, and I will answer them if I can. If I can't, I'll find someone who can. And if you do try it out, I'd love to hear about your experiences and how was playing Minecraft either by yourself or with your family. And maybe post a picture of maybe your favorite build that you've done together. But yeah, so that's going to be it for Minecraft. We'll be back on Wednesday for probably just a parent, kiddo, whoever Q&A, where we can talk about different game terminology, different trends. I'm sure I'll find something to play while we're talking, but if you have any questions about gaming in general, gaming culture, different games you've heard of that you want to know more about, we'll be doing that on Wednesday. So hopefully I will see you, and that will be 8 o'clock Wednesday. Hopefully I'll see you right here. Thanks, and you have a great evening and enjoy that family.